Morning. It's a beautiful fall day out here in the wilds of my local county fairgrounds. Now right off, I'm going to tell you this video is sponsored by Jackery. I actually came out here just to film a segment telling you about some Black Friday and Cyber Monday deals that are coming up on Jackery products. But I realized it's a good opportunity to talk about my heating situation and some things that I'm trying new this year. Now I can't remember if I've already mentioned this in one of my earlier videos, but my Mr. Heater Buddy stopped working on the first day of my winter overlanding trip in the high desert with Jason of Primal Outdoors. That meant I went through the entire week without having a way to heat my space. Now, one of the things that I started trying new this year is a 12-volt electric blanket. And fortunately, I had that for that trip because I was able to sleep very warm and very comfortably for the entire week, even though I didn't have any heat. The only struggle was getting ready for bed, getting up in the morning, definitely a little bit chilled. Now, I don't know exactly what is going on with my Mr. Heater Buddy. The pilot light will start up, but then it won't stay on. Therefore, the heating element itself can't complete its ignition and firing up. And I tried a number of different things. We even tried blowing air through it with Jason's air compressor when we were out on the trail. Could not get it to work. There may be a solution for that, but it did get me thinking about taking a different approach to heating anyway. It was something that had already been roughly in my mind because as good as this works, burning propane inside the way this does, it generates a lot of moisture. It definitely creates some condensation inside the canopy. So it was less of an issue inside my Gazelle tent because the Gazelle tent was very well ventilated, even too well ventilated in winter, but a lot of air moved through it. I never had any issues with condensation in the Gazelle running the Mr. Heater Buddy. Now, as it was, I would never run the Mr. Heater Buddy all night long. I would fire it up just to heat up the space so I could get ready for bed and then shut it off. In the morning, I'd fire it up, heat up the space, get dressed for the day, shut it off. And I relied on my bed, whether I was using a 0-degree sleeping bag or now my 12-volt electric blanket, just relying on my bed to keep me warm through the night. That continues to make the most sense to me. I don't need this entire space to be actively heated when I'm asleep, if my bed can keep me warm. But it did occur to me it would be nice to have a heat source that does not generate so much moisture inside the canopy. For the most part, that would mean getting some sort of diesel heater or possibly a propane heater, something like that, where the combustion occurs outside and it only pipes hot air into your space. Any decent diesel or propane heater with the combustion outside like that is not cheap. We're talking hundreds of dollars at least. What I was struggling with that idea is the fact that I still would not run a heater like that all night long. I still would run it for a brief period in the evening, a brief period in the morning. And that's a lot of investment to just run a heater for a number of minutes a day. I don't live in here, I don't cook in here, I don't do anything in here but sleep. When it's cold, I'm out by the campfire until it's time to go to bed, and then basically I go to bed. In the morning, I get up, get dressed, and I'm out filming the sunrise. So in a way, the Mr. Heater Buddy worked very well in that scenario because I really didn't need an expensive, complex install. And that actually got me thinking about electric heat. Now, it's funny because very frequently on my videos, people post questions like, can I use the Jackery to run an electric heater? And I have pretty much always sort of poo-pooed this idea because any electric heater that's capable of producing a decent amount of heat is going to consume so much electricity that you could never run that thing, for any length of time. But then it finally dawned on me, that's not how I use a heater. How do I use a heater? I run it for a few minutes in the evening, I run it for a few minutes in the morning. So I've decided to sort of eat my words there and actually try using electric heat. So I picked up this basic utility heater. This was much more affordable than sinking several $100s into Propex or some sort of diesel heater. Additionally, this has a fan in it, and so it actually circulates that air around, moves that heat around more effectively than my Mr. Heater Buddy did. I considered some smaller heaters, like the little ceramic heaters you can get. Ultimately, I settled on this one because of the bigger fan and because it's an all-metal build. I think it just may be a little bit more durable rattling around in the back of the truck. Now the specs say that at the first heat setting, it should run at 750 watts, and that on the second heat setting, it should be 1500 watts. However, what I found is that at the medium heat setting, it pulls a little over 1000 watts out of the Jackery, and on the full heat setting, it's up a little over 1200 watts. Now, if you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you know I use my Jackery 1500 for a lot of different things. It runs my fridge, it recharges all of my camera batteries, my phone, my iPad, drone, my chainsaw battery. For the most part, these are all tasks that a smaller unit like the Jackery 300 or the Jackery 500 can also handle just fine. What I love about having the 1500 is that I do have the ability to power just about anything that I want to. I've used it to run a grinder at the steel yard when I need to cut up some steel. I've used it to make waffles on top of a mountain. And now I'm going to use it to run a heater inside the back of my truck for winter camping. The Jackery 1500 has 3 USB ports, including a USB-C output, 3 AC outlets, and a 12-volt cigarette lighter style plug. And you can run any and all of these simultaneously, as long as the total draw isn't in excess of the 1500 watts that the Jackery 1500 can put out. I generally charge up my Jackery 1500 at home, just on a wall outlet, before going out on any trip. During trips, I keep it charged up by plugging it into the 12-volt output of the truck. When I stay at the same camp for a couple of days not driving, I do occasionally use the Jackery Saga 100 solar panels to keep it topped up. If you've been thinking about getting into a Jackery unit, the upcoming post-Thanksgiving shopping weekend will have some opportunities to save some money. On Black Friday, the Jackery 240 as well as the Jackery Saga 60 solar panel will be 20% off. The Jackery 500 and the Jackery 1500 will be 50% off, and the Jackery 500, 1000, and 1500 solar generator packages will also be 15% off. Now, on Cyber Monday, there's a really great deal if you're interested in the Jackery 300. That's actually going to be 30% off. Is that right? That is right. Also on Cyber Monday, the Saga 100 solar panel will also be 30% off. Unlike a dual battery system that you hardwire to your vehicle, you can take it out, put it in your tent, take it out and use it wherever you need to, really. That's one of the things that I love about my Jackery power stations, is that they're not bolted to my vehicle. Alright, so it'll be interesting this winter to see how things go. I'll be relying entirely on my Jackery 1500 for heat this winter, between the electric heater and my electric blanket. I'm planning to get out on a little winter camping trip in the next few weeks, and I'll definitely let you know how it goes. Thanks for watching.